Hey guys, welcome to the armory. So I've been operating out of this for about the last 6 hours while killing black and yellow mechs with just about every type of ammunition that you can kill them with. So we're gonna go over what I did, how many rounds it took, and yeah, everything that you can do. So let me get set up here and we'll go over a couple things. All right, guys. So let's start with explosives. These I obviously tested at various distances because they're explosives and you can't get too close to them. So I'll start with the worst and go up to the best. We started with explosive arrows. I went through 280 explosive arrows. That's 3 backpacks. That's 3 hiking backpacks filled with explosive arrows on a yellow mech and still never got it to smoke. So I gave up because the resources it takes to make 280 arrows, you will never do. Unless you're like bored and you're in game and you have nothing better to do than make 1,000 arrows. But I never got the mech to smoke. I got him to spark a little bit, but it's going to take a lot more than that to get him to do it. Like I said, that was the yellow mech. The black mech is tougher than the yellow mech. So if I never got the yellow mech to smoke, I'm not even going to try it on a black mech. So 280 arrows, 3 backpacks worth, still never got it to smoke. So that's that. Then we move on to the 40mm grenade launcher. We went through 47 grenade rounds to a yellow mech to kill it, and 72 40mm rounds to a black mech to kill it. So in reference, that's almost 1 backpack for the yellow mech, and almost 2 backpacks for a black mech. So take that as you want. Then we're going to move on to the AT4, and it took 10 AT4 rockets to kill a yellow mech, 15 to kill a black mech. So I don't know. I mean, if you and a teammate was to carry, 5 each, you could go kill a yellow mech. If three teammates could go kill a black mech, but realistically, you're not going to carry 15 of these by yourself to go kill a black mech. So unless you're going to kill it, run to the car and do it. I mean, obviously, you can collect enough of them. I think in the server we're in right now, we have about, let's say, 12. So we potentially could go try to kill black mech with them, but then again, I don't know if there's a better use for them yet. We'll find out. So 10 for a yellow mech, 15 for a black mech on the AT4s. Then the RPG. The RPG is the best at killing mechs regardless. If you can gather up the stuff to do this, you will kill the mech probably the fastest with this, especially if you have 2 launchers and a teammate. 5 rockets for a yellow mech, and 7 to 8. 7 was the best that I got, but there was times where it took 8 rockets to kill a black mech. So 5 for a yellow mech, 7 to 8 for a black. I would go, if you're going to do it, I would take an 8th just to be sure, or at least something else to finish it off. But 7 to 8 is the number that I was getting over and over and over. So that could be the variance of distances that I was doing it at, or maybe limbs do matter. Everything that I was doing body shots. So there's that. So 7 to 8 for black, 5 for yellow. All right, let me reset up and we'll go from worst guns to best guns to use. Okay, guys, so this is the one that we had the worst results with. This is the AKS 74U, 545 by 39, and it took 390 rounds of crap ammo to kill a yellow mech, and 660 rounds to kill a black mech. Honestly, in my opinion, I think this is a mistake in this game, because the 545 round is meant to compete with the 556 round IRL. So I think this round could actually use a little buff and make it better. That, or they need to come up with a 545 long gun, because this is basically like an SMG. So, and get better results out of it from there. But 390 rounds for a yellow mech, 660 rounds for a black mech. Now, there was, in all these, I basically rounded up to the next 10th in all these numbers that I'm going to give you. I would definitely take more just in case, because distance does vary. But in all these numbers I'm going to give you, it's going to be rounded up to the 10th. Some of it, you know, I say 390 rounds, but it may have been 395 or 385. So take that into account. I am going up to the next 10th of a number on these rounds just to be an even number. So 390 rounds for yellow mech, 660 rounds for black mech, 545 by 39 out of the AKS 74U. All right, let's move on to the next one. So next up we have the 38, the Peacekeeper. It took 320 rounds to kill a yellow mech with crap ammo and 560 rounds to kill a black mech. This is a gun that I would not recommend using to kill a mech. It's there, so I tested it. We have the numbers. Here's the data. Once again, this was at 25 meters or closer. I would take more if you're actually going to try it. I would take a lot more just in case. But 320 rounds for the yellow, 560 for the black. All right, we'll move on to the next caliber. Next up, we have 9x19 out of the MP5 and 9x39 out of the AS Val. This is both crap ammo, both tested at 25 meters or less, and they both did exactly the same. 300 rounds for the yellow mech and 480 rounds for the black mech. Both of them had the same exact damage to both, out of both guns and to both mechs. So that's a pretty easy one. Once again, crap ammo, 25 meters or less. We'll move on to the next round. Next up, we have 5.56 by 45 out of the 249. For the yellow mech, it took 280 rounds, and for the black mech, it took 470 rounds. So we're getting closer to things being easier, but these are still guns that I wouldn't. I mean, you could definitely do it with, but the amount of ammo you're gonna have to make to do these is just not worth it. So once again, 280 rounds for the yellow mech, 470 rounds for the black mech. We'll move on to the next caliber here. All right, guys. So next up, we have 45 ACP out of the UMP. The yellow mech took 270 rounds, and the black mech took 450 rounds. Now, here's the problem I have. The problem I have is that the 9mm, the 9x30, the 9x39, and the 45 ACP both did better than the 5.56 and the 5.45, which, in my opinion, is not right. The 5.56 and the 5.45 have a much greater velocity. IRL should penetrate armor easier with armor piercing ammo. So in my opinion, the 5.56 and the 5.45 need buffed to be better than at least the pistol calibers, because that's facts. That's facts in real life. So devs, if you're watching this video, you should think about that. But once again, 45 ACP, yellow mech, 270 rounds, black mech, 450 rounds. We'll move on to the next caliber here. Next up, we have 308 out of the SCAR DMR. We have 260 rounds to a yellow mech and 420 rounds to a black mech. Once again, all crap ammo and 25 meters or less. 260 rounds for a yellow mech, 420 rounds for a black mech. SCAR DMR 308. Let me get the next caliber. So next up, we have my personal favorite, the RPK 7.62 by 39. The yellow mech took 240 rounds, and the black mech took 400 rounds. Once again, crap ammo and less than 25 meters. The reason why this one is my favorite, even though it takes more rounds, is I feel this is the quickest way to get in and out of killing a mech. You can, especially if you have a teammate and you're going to kill a black mech, you could go in 2 RPKs, 450, 500 rounds, split between you, and go in there, take out a mech in less than a few minutes and get out of there before people even know you're there. So this is my favorite way to kill a mech. It's definitely not the cheapest, but it is the quickest in my opinion. So once again, 400 rounds for a black mech, 240 rounds for a yellow mech. And we'll move on to the next caliber. So next up we have 357 out of the 357 Desert Eagle. And it took 210 rounds to kill a yellow mech and 360 rounds to kill a black mech. Once again, I feel the pistols do a little more damage than they should, especially since there are sniper rifles that are performing worse than some of the pistol rounds. I don't feel like these are calculated properly, but once again, 210 rounds for a yellow mech, 360 rounds for a black mech. Let me move on to the next caliber. So next we have 2 more calibers that performed exactly the same. We have the 30-06 out of the M1 Grand and 44 Magnum out of the Judge 44. All right, so out of both of these weapons, and we are 190 rounds for a yellow mech and 320 rounds out of a black mech. So once again, both these guns and calibers performed exactly the same. 190 rounds for a yellow mech, 320 rounds for a black mech. We'll move on to the next caliber. Okay guys, 2 more calibers that performed exactly the same. This is the 338 Lapua and the 50 AE. So 338 Lapua was out of the AWM, and the 50 AE was out of the Desert Eagle 50. Both crap ammo, both 25 meters or less. We have 170 rounds for a yellow mech and 290 rounds for a black mech. Both of these calibers performed exactly the same. In my opinion, the 338 should be up closer with the 50 BMG, which is obviously our number 1 contender when it comes to cost of ammunition for killing a mech. But the 338 should be up there with it, in my opinion, or at least up there with the SVD and the Car 98. But I don't know what we got going on with the pistol rounds, but the pistol rounds are doing way better than all of the rifle rounds, which in my opinion doesn't make any sense, but I'm not sure. So let me get set up for the next caliber and we'll keep going. Next up we have the SVD. This is 762 by 54R. This is probably my next favorite one to use after the RPK. But we have 170 rounds for a yellow mech and 280 rounds for a black mech. Once again, crap ammo, less than 25 meters. Yeah, this is a little costly because of finding the gun. But other than that, if you found the gun, this would probably be one of my choices after the RPK. But you can use the AK with the RPK, with the 762 by 39 as well. So you could use the AK or the RPK. The RPK just has a little bit more durability than the AK, so that's the only difference. But once again, 762 by 54R out of the SVD, 170 rounds for the yellow mech, 280 rounds for a black mech, less than 25 meters. Let's move on to the next caliber. All right, so next caliber is 792 by 57 millimeter. This is out of the CAR 98. It took 150 rounds to kill a yellow mech and 260 rounds to kill a black mech. Once again, crap ammo, 25 meters or less. 150 rounds for yellow, 260 rounds for a black. Now, while this is taking less ammo, it is also taking a lot longer because it's a bolt action. So that's the next thing. I think it took me around 5 to 10 minutes. I think it was around 10 minutes actually to actually kill a black mech with this gun. So you're going to be in that area for a while. I personally wouldn't recommend it unless I was playing on like a PvE server or a server where I knew players couldn't kill me or more likely wouldn't find me. One of the other. But it is the cheapest ammo to craft, and you can get a CAR 98 almost anywhere. So once again, 150 rounds for a yellow mech, 260 rounds for a black mech. Let's move on to the big dog. All right, so for the big dog, the M82 50 BMG. It took 100 rounds to kill a yellow mech and 170 rounds to kill a black mech. Once again, this is 25 meters or less. Now, this is the only gun that you can use standard ammo on, and you cannot craft crap ammo for this. Yeah, matter of fact, you can't craft any ammo for this. So, while it is the absolute cheapest, the ammo you have to basically get from being lucky in some random military POI, in an abandoned bunker, in the black tarps or Brenner's lockers, or killing mechs. So while it is the cheapest, it's definitely not the most easiest ammo for everyone to obtain. Once again, 100 rounds for the yellow mech, 170 rounds for a black mech, 25 meters. So since we're talking about crafting ammo, there are 3 calibers that you cannot craft. That's 50 BMG, 22 LR, and shotgun shells of any type. Slug, buck, or birdshot. You cannot craft those. The crap ammo is the only ammo you can craft that will kill a mech. Crafting the normal crafted ammo will not kill a mech. The only standard ammo that will kill a mech is the 50 BMG. Standard ammo, tracer ammo, or armor piercing rounds that you can buy will not kill a mech. Unless it's BMG. The next thing is the arrows. We've already went through that. I would not waste your time on crafting arrows and or trying to kill mechs with it, because as you can see, you need 25 gunpowder and a blast cap. And if you start adding that up, 25 gunpowder plus a blast cap is another 50 gunpowder. That's 75 gunpowder. You're essentially gonna make 2 arrows per gunpowder, and you're gonna need a lot of toolboxes. So they're not worth making. We went through 3 backpacks and never got a yellow mech to smoke, so they're not even worth trying unless you're bored and you have nothing else to do. You're at end game and you got a lot of resources, then go to town. But other than that, it's not worth going for. So in the order that my personal preference, that I would go for killing mechs, and we're talking PvP servers, it's the RPK, the M82, and then if those 2 aren't available, it's going to be the Desert Eagle 50 or the SVD. The SVD and the Desert Eagle 50 were the same amount of ammo. The 50 AE is easy to craft. The Desert Eagle and the mags are easy to get, so that would be probably the more common one to use would be the Desert Eagle 50. So with all that being said, hopefully it helps a lot of people out on what you can and can't do with killing mechs. Hopefully it makes your choices narrowed down a little bit to what you want to do. But yeah, if you guys like this video, make sure to subscribe and like it. Leave a comment if you got more questions. Other than that, this was fun. It took a lot of time, and I appreciate you guys watching it. So I'm out.